Welcome to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. If you have any questions, you can reach us at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Hey, everybody. Today, this is Attilio, and I want to talk to you about, Howard and I did a open mic night. I want to give a big shout out to Jose Dynamite. He with
Comedy U.
With Comedy U. And so if you want to find out what is going on with comedy, what's cool about Jose Dynamite and Comedy U is that people have come and gone regarding comedy here in Hawaii. People have tried, dabbled, and then, I don't know, just not lasted too long, but
there's a few of them that have, they're pretty consistent, though. And Jose is one of them.
I will tell you, no one has been as consistent as Jose Dynamite with Comedy U.
Yes.
Period. And you know what that reminds me of? Our radio show. People have tried radio shows, doing podcasts, whatever, their YouTube thingies. We've been on the air how long? And running a radio show that's a podcast, not a podcast that's a radio show. How long?
I want to say we're coming on 14 years now.
All right. So here's the point. Here's the point when it comes to success is you're going to have reasons or results. You can't have both.
Mm-hmm.
If there are things that you need to do to be successful in whatever area of your life, your waistline, your checking account, your relationships, your mental well-being, your faith, your spiritualness, all of those areas, I guarantee you there's something between where you're at right now and where you need to be. And it's hard. It's hard. It's challenging. If it's not hard, it's not challenging, you're not really growing. You're stagnant. And if you're not growing, you're what?
You're dying.
You're dying. So on this team, we have a motto.
Go back to how you and Howard were growing together at the stand-up comedy. He does it every Tuesday. So in the beginning part, it's like the professionals that are out there every week. And then after they're done,
what's the place where it's at?
It's at Anna O'Brien.
How much does it cost?
I think it's like $10 or $15.
What do you mean? You signed us up.
Well, we've gone so many times that we had enough points that it was comped. But yeah, so you go enough. Jose gives you
There's not but. Get your butt.
He rewards you for being
the only but. Get your butt over there. Sign up and go do it. And I will tell you,
oh no, but if you do the performance, then your ticket is free.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. If you are completely uncomfortable with public speaking, go do an open mic night. But you're saying, you know what, I'm going to bomb. It's embarrassing. All of those things in your mind that prevent you from these areas of your life of doing it, that's called your drunk monkey. And you either pay attention to that and stay where you're at and stay in mediocrity, or you punch it in the you-know-whats and you move on and you go do uncomfortable things. Newsflash, folks, between you and where you want to be and your joy and everything else is going to be hard stuff. Is going to be uncomfortable things. So you can have reasons. Oh, I'll go to the gym when I get that promotion and I can afford the membership. I'll get in better shape once the kids are grown up and I don't have to run around with so many things. You know what? You don't need a whole bunch of excuses. One will do. One will do, because it's only one excuse that keeps you from doing anything in your life worthwhile. It's not a whole bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're listening to this and you're like, wow, Attilio, you're really slapping me in the head. Good. We need, if I was a therapist, I would just do slap therapy. Mm-hmm. You come in, you tell me what's your problem. I slap you and I say, stop it. End of session. Now I'm being facetious. Oh, well, that's not how therapy was. You know what? Back in the day before phones and the internet, we used to drink from hoses, stay out all night, catch the bus, even when we're in third grade. And I think statistically, our world today, if you were to look it up or chat GPT it or cloud it, whatever, AI it, the dangers and what's out there is no different than it was in the 60s and 70s and 80s when Adrian and I grew up. It's no different. The only thing that's changed is our perception. We're giving these kids all trophies for showing up. Stop it. Do you get a trophy for just coming to work every day on time? Well, I guess it's a paycheck. But when
you
it
don't get
comes
fired.
time for promotions or reductions in labor force, just showing up gets cut. AYSO, everybody gets a trophy. So real world folks, if you want something in your life, you got to go do hard stuff. By the time you hear this show, we already have completed our first annual date night. And that date night, so just look for it next year. Just look
Mhm.
for it next year. That date night is about being present with someone going through exercises. Adrian and I have gone, I don't know, over the last 15 years. How much money do you think we've spent on personal growth?
Easily a $500,000.
$500,000.
Yep.
All right. And how much time do you think we spent on all of that?
Months, at least maybe 6 months total.
I think, and mastery is how many hours?
10,000 hours
10,000
to
hours.
mastery. Yep.
So I will tell you that we've gone through some, I'm not going to say it's like brutal, cruel, and unusual punishment, but we've gone through pretty deep on this stuff. And I will say that we've learned a lot. We've
Mhm.
learned a lot. And mostly the biggest people we've learned a lot is about ourselves. And so our date night next year, sign up for it. It's only going to be 20 couples. We're never going to go more than that. It's just going to be 20 couples. First come, first serve, get on a wait list. And it's just going to be about you working on you working with your significant other, being present, no phones, no alcohol, no phones, no alcohol, doing something crazy, being present, making eye contact with that person that you've made a commitment to. Speaking of making commitments to, if you're thinking about listing your home for sale, you want to work with a team that actually makes eye contact with you and can carry a conversation
Mhm.
and can take you through an 82-point prep checklist to get your home sold. We've been doing this for over 20 years. How many transactions?
Over 1,800.
Over 18. And how many reviews do we have on the
I
Google?
think we're up to
Coming
920.
up on 1,000.
Yep.
Well, we'll hit 1,000 and then we'll hit 2,000 and we'll hit 3,000. But these are 5-star reviews. Don't take our word for it. Just check out our reviews. I would tell you, like even the most extreme circumstance, we just walked through a property yesterday, and hoarding. It was a home that a hoarder lived in.
And she
I'm
passed
not,
away.
she
Yeah.
passed away.
So it's
And the
probate now.
family was for a whole year. We kept checking in. We can help. We can help. No, that's okay. That's okay. They go there. It's overwhelming. We just walked through that property yesterday,
True
and
story.
there were so many things in there. Like it was just overwhelming. I can imagine for us as lay people, we got resources. We'll figure it out. But I can imagine if you're in a situation like that, and it may not be hoarding. It may just be like
Well,
there's a whole bunch of stuff that
let
needs to be done to the
let
home to get it ready for sale.
well, let's take it back a step. These people, they were overwhelmed and they were kind of in like a kind of a shutdown
I think
kind
what
of
was
mode.
happening
Yeah.
is they were embarrassed.
Well, yeah,
They
there
were
was,
embarrassed, and
and they thought that the family could just handle it. But you know what we did? We continued to follow up
yeah.
and check in and reassure. And then finally, I think it was after like 7 months, they
Now,
let us jump in
I
and
just got
start
to
to
give
help.
you an idea of what it's going to cost to do something like this. This is on the third floor. There's no elevator. There's no place to stage a dumpster. You got to park in the parking stall. It's off of, I'm just going to say it's off Kapahulu. I don't want to say anything further than that to protect the privacy of our client. But that is all going to be hand put into bags, hand carried, 2 trucks, and then taken out. We got one quote for 6,000, and then and we're not going to say who, and then we got another quote for how much?
11,000.
$11,000. Now they're like, "Oh, if you find this or that or something that's meaningful." That is a very wide description. These guys are good. They're going to be going in there and trying to get that job done fast. So Adrian and I are going to go in there and rummage through stuff, but like if uh
Try and look for like the photo albums, like things that are, valuable to the
but
family.
just
Just
imagine a
the
room
pictures.
10 feet wide, 10 feet, 8 feet tall, 10 feet deep, two up to within like 2 feet of the ceiling. How are you going to find grandma's album? You have to empty the whole room out bag by bag, one at a time. That would probably take what? All day? One room.
Yeah, at least.
And the kitchen was full. There was a tiny path to the refrigerator. This refrigerator looks like it belonged in a museum. All mold inside.
Yeah.
And then a toaster oven and a microwave in the sink. Well, I think the bathroom was clear. That was about it.
Yep.
There wasn't a
It's like,
place to sleep.
yeah, there's just little pathways in between all of the like very tall piles.
Now, here's the deal, folks. Hoarding is a disease. It is a mental illness, very difficult to deal with, and so we totally understand. This is for families to be dealing with it. But I will tell you right now, the worst of the we've seen 10 times worse than what I've just
Mhm.
described to you.
We have.
We went to one where the grass was 5 feet tall, just in a regular residential neighborhood. I didn't know. I counted after we figured it out. 15 scooters in the
Mhm.
yard. 15 scooters. There was a Harley
Yeah,
motorcycle, like a Goldwing.
that was a
That was a Honda.
three-bedroom. That was a three-bedroom home.
That was a three-bedroom home with a yard. The
And that
garage,
was filled
like
to the
literally
brim.
open up the garage. There was one pathway down the middle to the back door to get into the house. Left to right, top to bottom, all full. I saw a license plate, like I saw, and then I thought it was like a back end of a motorcycle. It literally was a Honda Goldwing, and if you guys don't know what motorcycle, those are big ones with the compartments on the side, big windshield. I literally you wouldn't know it was there because all you saw was the back license plate sticking out. It was completely covered and stacked with stuff. That next to that thing, I counted 22 bowling balls, brand new in the boxes.
And the funny thing was that both the husband and wife were blaming each other, that they were both
She's the hoarder. No, he's the hoarder. And then
they're both.
there was like, no, you want harder. No, you want harder. And we're not making fun of that
No.
situation because I will tell you, there was mold, the water wasn't working, the refrigerator broke, they just closed it and then put it in
But they got a new one. They put it somewhere else in the house.
in the living room
Yeah.
and then just closed the thing. I mean, there was so much bird nest material up in the roof
It was a
that it
fire
about the
hazard.
size of a car.
Yeah.
So you figure hantavirus, gnats, there was mold inside there, there was cat hair all over the place. They literally,
They could have died if they stayed there.
if we didn't come in and interview and get the place cleaned up, move them into a new place, they literally would have died in that home.
And then what did we do though? I mean, with that particular home, it was more of a partnership.
Yeah.
We partnered up because it was a distress situation
Yeah.
and we made it a win for everybody. With this particular situation, we are helping the family. We're doing the 10K for upgrades, and they are taking advantage of us being able to front the
We're
money.
going to
Yes,
pay for it.
and be reimbursed at closing.
All you gotta do is say, I need help.
Yep.
We will help you. You got friends and family out there. I will tell you right now, and even if you have something that not a lot of problems, you've taken care of the home, it's immaculate.
Mm-hmm.
Here's part two. You're going to need someone that knows how to do marketing. Here's what is just one aspect of our marketing. We will go in there. We create a standalone website, custom website.
Your own property website.
For your property. What's on there? First part, description, short paragraph. People don't like to read stuff. Short paragraph. Nobody likes to read. We're in an illiterate society, not illiterate. Illiterate means you can't read at all. Illiterate means you barely read anything.
A very low attention span.
Yeah.
So we keep that in mind with the marketing.
There are 3 pieces of marketing on this thing. The first one is a YouTube video starting with the drone footage up in the air with some original background music by our own Howard Nett, professional musician.
Yes.
And then it goes into the front door, walks through the house, goes through the backyard.
It shows the community.
Comes back out, show the community again. That's one. Number 2, it's a 3D virtual tour. Agents will do this. Virtual tour, it's a slideshow.
It's
that
like
ain't
the
no
same
virtual
pictures,
tour.
but like to music, and it just automatically.
That is not
sliding.
a virtual tour. That is a slideshow.
Yep. So
that is a slideshow.
Yep.
Ours is a 3D. You click with the mouse. You can see the ceiling, the walls, the floors.
You can even look out the windows.
You can go to the second floor. You can look
measure.
out the windows.
You can measure.
There's a measuring tool on there. Will my Dukahanamoku 14-foot long Kowa surfboard fit on that wall? You can do that sitting in your lazy boy, your dead boy, in Guangdong, China.
So the cool thing is, though, we have.
There's the third thing, though.
Oh, and then all the photos.
Large
format, beautiful photos. And the cool thing is that we have a little QR code for your property website that goes on the sign in front of your home.
That goes on the sign in the front of your house. Hello, folks. Buyers don't want to talk to us. We're scary.
They just want the information.
Adrian is 4 feet 5 inches tall, really mean looking Filipino girl. And I am 6.5 feet tall, 350-pound Samoan. He's a good boy. He could
No.
BYU. No, but it doesn't matter what we look like or how kind we are or how easy going. They don't want to talk to the agents. They want to see the house.
Yeah, we give them the property website. They scan the QR code. We do have some lead capture in there. So we will follow up to see, do they have any extra questions? Would they like to schedule a showing? But, like we do give them the information. We put it right in front of the home. We make it easy for them to get the data.
There's a rider. It's like the skinny part of the sign at the top. And on there is call 24/7. Mm-hmm. On there is call 24/7 with the number. Because like, people in Hawaii, we work in like 9 jobs. 2:00 in the morning, they call that number. I'm going to answer. No, I'm not going to be. I'm going to be sleeping.
Well, I mean, unless you're traveling and we're in a different time zone, you might answer.
No, I'm not going to answer. What's going to answer
is our answering service.
It's Sergio. Is Sarah.
Yeah.
Melissa. Anyway, these are live people, not AI. They're going to live answer.
And they've been trained. Yep. They understand our market and, how we like to, relay information.
They're going to scan the QR code, get all the custom website just for your property from the street. The agent, if they have an agent, that agent will be able to call a 1-800 number, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, online, schedule a showing. We take all the friction that us agents are guilty of that are putting between the buyer and getting the home sold, and we grease them. We're like, our marketing of your home is like a massive slippery slide at the botanical gardens in Kaneohe. We put the soap, you're the buyer at the top. And then you know what it sounds like? The buyer and the buyer agent, you know what they sound like when they're getting the information about your home? Whee! No friction. Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Well, I want to talk about the deal of the week.
No way. You mean you list your house with us? We're going to talk about it on the radio and then push it out onto all of our social media platforms?
Yes.
That is insane.
Well, this is a very unique.
Oh, I got to put my glasses on.
This is a very unique deal of the week.
Okay.
So we see and we talk about these VA assumable loans, and usually there's some kind of a gap. You've got to come to the table.
All right, talk about gap,
money.
not the store where you buy clothes.
Yeah.
What do you mean by gap?
The gap is
not like David Letterman is front teeth.
The price point that the home is listed at and what the mortgage balance is.
Okay, let me give you an example. Let's say the house listed for $1 million.
Yes.
The mortgage is $800,000. The gap is
$200,000.
$200,000. You know, as realtors, yes, we only can do math 2 ways: commissions and gaps.
Okay, so we've done all the math for you. You don't have to math on any of our VA assumables. You can go into the supplement section.
And we made it a visual infographic.
Yes.
You're not too smart. You can look at pictures.
So Hans is going to screen share this deal of the week. It's 921237 Panana Street.
Panana Street, by the way, folks.
Number 35.
If you know Panana Street in Makakilo, every single home in Makakilo is on Panana Street. The entire mountain is on Panana Street.
So this one is in Makakilo Hale. So it has.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
It's Makakilo Upper.
Yes. And this one has the lower maintenance fees. So there's the Makakilo Hale 1 and 2. So Hale 1 has the lower maintenance fees of the
Hale, yes, for you Howleys, means house in Hawaii.
Yes.
Did you know that, Adrian?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah, you lived there long enough. Mm-hmm. You better know what Hale means.
All right. So there is no gap. So this is listed at $599,000.
No way.
You can assume this 5.25% interest rates.
You know, we did a calculation. So listen.
And here's the calculation.
Listen to this, folks. Listen to this, folks. Buy this home, save $231,000. We're not knocking $231,000 off of it. You got to understand that unless you're paying cash, you're going to be financing a home for 30 years. So I'll do this part, you do that part. I'll do this part, you do that part.
No, but I don't, you have not addressed the part that I was going to talk about.
Okay,
it's not even on here.
Okay, go ahead.
So when you use your VA loan, you have this thing called a funding fee, unless you are
a fee or funding?
A funding
It's
fee.
not fund, the funding fee.
And unless you're a disabled veteran, you have to pay a funding fee
instead of having it waived.
Yep. So you got that for a brand new VA loan. You have closing costs, you have appraisal, you have all these extra fees that come with your loan, whether you use a VA loan or conventional, whatever, you're going to have closing costs. When you do an assumption, those closing costs are way lower. I think it's like maybe 0.5%, if that.
Yeah.
So you're saving right away on the closing costs by doing the assumption.
All right, let me talk about the long play.
And this one is at 5.25%. Interest rates on VA is not 5.25 right now.
Yeah. So this is we ran the calculation. So this loan start date was August 25th, 2023. The loan balance was $600,000. The interest rate is 5.25. The monthly payment, property tax, insurance, and everything out the door is $3,363. There is 27.25 years, 327 payments remaining on this interest, and remaining interest to pay, fully amortizing the loan, $515,416. Now, if you were to get a brand new loan, which means you buy it, I don't know, in a month from now,
and you use your own VA benefit, and you have the closing cost, the funding fee, and then plus there's the other things.
Yeah. So you're avoiding all those closing costs Adrian just said, but you're paying those closing costs that Adrian just said if you get a new loan. So you buy that loan June, July, whatever. $600,000 is the loan because you're using VA, no money down. It's 100% financing. Interest rates could be somewhere between 6 and 7%. Monthly payment, they calculated about $3,697. 30 years, 300. So before 30 years, 360 payments. This one they already made the payments. The total interest you would pay on that loan. So let me remind you, on the existing loan, the total interest, if you just take it over, is $515,000. The interest on the brand new loan, $746,000. That's a $231,000 difference.
By just assuming this loan.
By just assuming the loan.
And there's no gap. So you don't have to come to the table with anything. Maybe just some basic closing costs for that assumption fee. All right. We're going to take a break, but stay with us. When we come back, we'll be talking with Richard Warren of Wilson Hand, LLC. We're going to talk about leadership, building high-performing teams, and what it takes to grow organizations with trust, strategy, and operational excellence.
So stay with us.
Hey, you know someone that moved to the mainland but left the rental property behind? So Amber wanted to create a new investment opportunities on the mainland, but she had to sell her island rental first. So she reached out to our good friends Adrian Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally Real Estate Group of Keller Williams, Honolulu. Handling the business virtually with Amber, Adrian and Attilio came prepared with multiple 5-star selling strategies, including adjusting Amber's selling price expectations, and the home sold in days. If you're in the market to sell your home and you want a team that will make you the most money with the least amount of drama, you can trust our good friends, Adrian and Attilio of Team Lally. Give them a call today, 808-799-9596. That's 808-799-9596. They're trusted. You see the signs all over in my community. Visit teamlally.com today. That's teamlally.com today.
The only real estate team I trust right here in Honolulu is Adrian Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally Real Estate Group. Now, thanks for joining me today. What's the number one reason homes don't sell on time?
Sean, sellers are in denial. They are stuck in the previous market and not pricing their homes properly.
How do you solve that problem?
We have a 12-step program. The first step is to have a smart pricing strategy. We follow the 10-10-0 rule. 10 showings, no offers, we have to adjust. 10 days on the market, no showings, another adjustment. For the other 11 steps, give us a call.
Great update. Thank you for keeping us informed. Put the most experience and the best marketing to work for you. Call Team Lally now at 799-9596 or online at teamlally.com. That's teamlally.com. And you can start packing.
In today's fast-changing real estate market, you need access to the right information to make smart choices. I invest in real estate all over the country, and I rely on smart agents who know their local market inside and out. In Honolulu, I work with Adrian Lally and Attilio Leonardi. Adrian, Attilio, and their team sell a home every 72 hours and have over 750 5-star reviews. Go to teamlally.com and find out in just seconds what your home is really worth.
you're trying to find the best of the best, don't settle for an agent that's just like the rest. Pick a team that knows just what to do. From buying or selling, we work hard for you. Team Lally, the best real estate in the islands. 227-2703.
Welcome back, and thanks for listening to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. I'm Adrienne.
And I am still Native Hawaiian Attilio.
And if you have any questions, you can reach us at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Hey, you got something for me to read?
Yes, we have our guest, Richard.
Richard Warren, Chief Operating Officer of Wilson Hand LLC. Richard is an accomplished business leader with extensive experience across law operations, strategic growth, negotiations, team building, and process improvement. His background spans multiple industries, including financial services, insurance, banking, retail, telecommunications, manufacturing, and pharmaceuticals.
Known for his people-first leadership style, Richard focuses on energizing, educating, and empowering teams to succeed at what he calls the speed of trust.
Speed of trust.
He is passionate about helping organizations build integrity-driven cultures, strengthen operational systems, and consistently deliver results that exceed expectations.
All right.
Welcome our guest, Richard Warren.
Welcome, Richard.
Hi, Attilio and Adrienne. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Yes.
So why don't we, Adrienne, why don't you just back it up in a little bit? Boop, boop, boop. How did we meet?
Oh, so
How are they coming on our radar?
yeah, so it was through the triangle of trust.
Yeah. What
as
is
we
the
call it.
triangle of trust?
So there's an agent that we're connected to in California who knows Richard and his team
Yeah.
and said, I had a great experience with them.
You should give them a call.
You guys should, meet them and see if they can be of service to you, to your clients. And so I said, you know what the heck? Let's reach out. And then ever since we've been dialoguing, I've been making introductions, and I thought, you know what? I think our listeners need to meet Richard and learn about some of these very exciting strategies and techniques that they, have come up with Wilson Hand.
Yeah.
So that's the backstory.
Okay.
All right. So Richard, what is Wilson Hand?
Thank you so much for asking. And
Yes.
I would start with a quick story. Our name is Wilson Hand. The hand refers to a very famous U.S. Appeals Court federal judge, Judge Learned Hand, who wrote, in America, there are two tax systems, one for the informed and one for the uninformed. Both are legal. That is the reason for Wilson Hand. Our goal and objective is to inform our clients and contacts about options available to them that would mitigate and reduce their tax exposure without taking unnecessary risks. So our job is to bring that information.
I think there's a third tax avenue or pathway, the Willie Nelson tax strategy.
No.
It's true.
I mean, it is an option.
You just go to jail, though.
I would not advise.
We don't recommend that one.
No. So yeah, so Richard, with the tax code, there's a lot, and then
there is.
with AI and all this other stuff, I'm sure that it's helping to make things even more streamlined and easier. So how have you guys integrated the AI in your tax information and strategies?
What across the entire legal profession, really, as a law firm, we've learned that AI is a terrific tool for execution. However, if it's used in the wrong way or used as a source of information or expertise, it is still wildly wrong. In fact, we find 96 times out of 100 in most tests. The American Bar Association has said it's great as a tool, but it's not prepared to replace the legal expertise. And the IRC code is a perfect example of this because that code is not written in congruity, meaning individual separate sections of the code do not conform necessarily to other sections of the code. This creates a tremendous amount of confusion, even for sophisticated tax filers. So it is our job to bring the peace of mind to interpret and understand how those can be applied in a way that is both legal and fully beneficial for an individual or a business.
And that's like that's a good explanation, and it's a good little like warning that, this AI or chat GPT is not gonna, I mean, it's gonna help you be informed, but it may not be 100% accurate. And the best
Right.
way to ensure that you have the best information is to be working directly with a professional like yourself and your team. So,
Absolutely.
like being that this is a real estate radio show, and our listeners really want to learn about real estate related kind
Absolutely.
of things. I think like the big connection point here is like this whole capital gains taxes that can be kind of
Absolutely.
a hot point, whether it's in real estate or maybe you did like a big stock sale or whatever it is, you're facing some pretty large taxes.
Yeah.
And you guys have some pretty unique strategies. And I know like you can only share so much, but maybe just give our listeners a little bit of an idea
Give them Miller
of
Lite, just
of how your firm could help.
a little taste of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I very much appreciate that. So we have focused our efforts very much in the real estate sector and specifically honing in and focusing on capital gains exposure for our clients and contacts. And what we find is even a quick Google search would show you that the high net worth individuals in this country pay an average tax of 6 to 16% overall. That's a little confusing when you consider the fact that they're in a 37% federal tax bracket, and many of them have state exposure as well. But Google will explain right in the direct search the reason for this is they use strategies and structured their ownership and assets in a way that avoids capital gains tax. So that is exactly the kind of opportunity we want to bring to clients, is to show them how to structure their transactions in such a way that they do not create the tax liability in the first place. So we are not about finding creative ways to pay a tax. We're not really looking at ways to avoid taxes. We don't want to ever, imply that we are somehow making tax liability go away. What we do want to do is shift that tax liability to a third party, which is successfully done through a variety of strategies. So we can work with a client, and everything we do is bespoke, it's customized, it's not a shelf solution. So as we talk to someone and they tell us, hey, as you mentioned, I've got an ownership in an underlying asset, whether it's a personal piece of property, including your private residence, or it is a business, or it is a piece of commercial property that you have, or a highly appreciated private or public stock. Whatever those structures are, we can place them into an account and design that account so that as we go forward, those assets experience a much lower tax exposure and therefore much lower tax liability. And so this is just about a little bit of planning, about making sure that we structure things well.
Well, you're talking about shifting the tax burden. I'm not getting along with my neighbor. Could I shift my taxes to him?
If he'll take them, yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay. No, that's not what you're talking about. But
You're
yeah,
awfully
it's a
nice to each other. Just ask
strategy.
nicely.
Yeah.
And so, like, you guys do have a heavy specialist in like the tax side of things. Now, you do not replace anyone's CPAs or accountants. It's like you work in parallel and alongside. And I will say that Attilio and I, we met with you and all of your partners, and we had our CPA on, and we had our
Yes.
CPA asking all the CPA questions that we don't know to ask because we're not CPAs. We don't know to ask. And after she got through all of her questions, she was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that works."
Yes.
So
She CPA'd it.
yeah, she did. So we're like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. Because, a lot of times, I don't know if you track on social media, but there's this kid, does this, he has a platform. It's called School of Hard Knocks, and he has interviewed over 40 plus billionaires, capital B, from around the world. And one of the billionaires that he interviewed said, make sure that your lawyer, your attorney, and your tax person are not buddies, because they have different, and same thing with your tax strategy versus your CPA. I just looked this up for perspective on the tax code. The tax code contains millions of words. It has been amended thousands of times since its major codification in 1954 and subsequent revisions. Even tax attorneys and CPAs typically specialize in only certain areas because no one person masters the entire system. So you got to have experts in the different areas of your life. You are an expert that we brought to our CPA to come up with these strategies that she's not going to be omniscient and know about.
No, because that's not her lane.
That's not her lane. But we're lay people.
Yeah.
So we needed her to CPA it.
Yeah, because she's doing our taxes.
And like,
she's got to be behind it and feel like, okay, yes, I can put my signature on this. And if there's questions, I know how to answer them.
Yeah.
Which actually, by the way, Richard, if there is some kind of an audit, what happens there? Like, does your team work with the client CPA team and you guys like all respond to the IRS? How does that work if there's an audit based on what we're doing here?
Yeah, great question, Adrian. Average across the United States, we've seen, and it ebbs and flows with different administrations. We generally see most audits are now desk audits, meaning they're created from an automated system, not an individual making a choice. They're just randomly selected or selected based upon some criteria that they're looking for. And what we find is we're no different. Our clients are in that same, about 2%. In our current administration, and probably for the next 3 years, we should likely expect the audit rate to be lower than it has been traditionally. This administration has not taken an aggressive posture so far on individual tax audits. And we find that if we have somebody who has a question or has a desk audit, that audit is usually not directly related to any work or strategy that we may have worked with them on. It's just a general audit of their entire return. So you pegged it perfectly. We work with existing professionals, we work with the individual, their CPAs. We will bring representation to make sure that any work that we have done has been adequately represented back to the service, and that we provide all supporting documentation. That usually is the end of it. Once we have, verified.
I think now is a good time as a business person to be looking at these strategies, tightening it up, because first of all, we have UFC fights happening on the White House lawn. A little bit of a distraction there. We have this multi-cajillion ballroom construction going on over there, a little bit of a distraction. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think Donald Trump was like suing the IRS.
Yes.
So they're distracted. It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi. These are not the taxes you're looking for. So.
Okay, so Richard, people are listening, or maybe they're tuning in on, Facebook or YouTube or however they're consuming this information. What kind of clients would best be suited to be having a consult, or should be connected to you? Like, what kind of life events or business events would trigger that? Like, oh, we need to go have a meeting with Richard and his
Listen
team.
up. If this is you, we're going to give you a number to call.
Yes.
We have
actually, we're going to give him a website. We'll give him a website to go to.
Give him a website to go. Well, you just call us.
Yeah.
799-9596. But go ahead.
Yeah, if we have a very clear demarcation, and really this stems not from our appetite for business, but from the structure of the code itself. Because our tax code is graduated and tiered, we find that as we get to lower dollar amounts, our ability to mitigate taxes doesn't go down, but the value certainly does. If you're in a 10% tax bracket, saving a few dollars probably isn't worth the effort. But if you are an individual that has one of three scenarios, whether you have earnings of more than $1 million a year, whether it's business or personal, regardless of whether that's W-2, K-1, 1099, regardless of how that is coming to you, if you have more than $1 million of income, if you have more than $2 million saved in qualified funds, or any asset sale over $5 million, any of those three areas, we do our best work. We're able to provide significant savings. And just to give you a quick preview of that, depending upon the strategy, we generally say that we are able to reduce that liability by half, but in some cases, we will reduce or even eliminate that liability down to a very small number, as low as 0 in our qualified, and perhaps as low as 6 or 7% for real estate.
Yeah, you guys are kind of like, if I had a fly in my house, I would just grab a fly swatter. But you guys are more like a bazooka. So I'm going to get the fly. I'm going to blow like the side of my house out. So it's more for and flies are like taxes. They're like pests.
So, you're talking about different types of capital gain situations.
Yeah.
And in real estate, we have the 1031 exchange. So
deferring taxes.
And that defers the taxes. And that is one strategy, right?
Yeah.
But you're saying that if you don't want to deploy that 1031 exchange, you can work with the individual and they're going to pay maybe around 6% capital gains taxes instead of like 20 or 30 or whatever they were facing by not doing the 1031.
And that's all going to be figured out in the consultation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's that. I just want to give these examples. I mean, maybe Richard, you could share, I mean, you're not going to share the names, but maybe some success stories.
Absolutely.
Because people love stories. They want to be able to relate. And if you can share a couple of stories of how you guys were able to save money, save taxes, have a different strategy, take away that stress.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear some of those.
I would say there's a couple real quickly. First of all, as goes, you mentioned 1031s and also Delaware Statutory Trust, DSTs. Those are, as we call them, kick the can down the road strategies, meaning we know the tax burden's coming, but we don't want to deal with it today. We're going to kick it down the road. Well, we have a way to allow people to structure their exit to avoid those capital gains at the levels you were talking about and leave at about 7% in total expense. So in a state like Hawaii or Massachusetts or California, where those capital gains can be extremely high, this could be the difference between 48% and 7%, saving someone as much as 41% in their tax exposure. That is significant. I mean, it is massive. And we do that as a part of our structure and work every day. One other example that comes to mind is you were talking about, people who are selling their primary residence. A lot of times people are selling homes and realizing that they have to scramble to either get a 1031 in place or try to find the right property. We will take that stress away by making sure that you don't have those kind of limitations, restrictions, or urgency by structuring the deal right. And another thing too that we find is that as we're working with people, we often find, remembering that we're a law firm and our primary task is making sure that you and your family and your business have the assets structured, owned, and executed for you in a way that work best for you and most advantageous. We're always looking to how we increase your estate or how we improve your business's bottom line. And we believe that we do that again by effectively structuring things that work well for you.
I think the key is that initially you're going to do a consultation with them to see if you guys
Like the
are
overall
a
picture.
solution to their situation or not.
Yeah.
So before you go too far down that rabbit hole, you probably have that initial conversation.
I think that there's a lot of people, like, because here in Hawaii, the values have jumped so much.
Yeah.
So let's say that someone's been in their home like 15, 20 years, and they have the capital gains exemption for the owner occupancy. Maybe they're married, so 500,000.
Yeah.
But their profits exceed that 500,000. So they're going to be hit with capital gains taxes. They're not an investor. So like, I think that is a perfect example of somebody who could really use your firm's help.
Let's say they own a
right?
$5 million home free and clear. A lot of those transactions
Yeah.
are done cash without financing. So they got
But
500,000 to be covered, and they got
Yeah.
a 450,000. Let's call it 400,000 because of the closing costs and commit. $400,000 in gain, and could you have a conversation with them and figure out a solution?
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you pointed that out. Everything we do is custom. We want to have a conversation with a person. We want to understand what their needs are and how, if we are able to assist, we could do that. We're not a fit for everyone, but we are able to give good information to everyone we speak to. We certainly want to improve anyone's life that we touch. And about half the time we find that there is something we can do for someone. But we are, again, as a law firm, we're very, very low key. I always stress we are not an asset manager. So we are not in conflict of interest with your current wealth management advisor, CPA.
Oh, how are you investing your money?
Your money.
Actually, I think that your guys' like number one clientele, I mean, besides like realtors that are like
Probably
us
wealth
that have that
advisors.
take more of a consultative approach, but mainly you guys are dealing with the wealth advisors because they're the ones that are helping the clients navigate all these odds and ends and just helping them to get through this.
Like, how do I take care of this taxes? I want to sell my Apple stock and go buy an island. How do I do that without taking in the shorts with the 48% tax bracket? By the way, earlier, I think I said 400,000. I meant $4 million.
Yes, $4 million.
Yes.
$4 million, more like Dr. Evil level,
And
pinky by the mouth, dead volcano.
We do see that where people have bought their homes many, many years ago for a very low amount, and now it's worth, millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So
in that case, rather than saying a $4 million gain that you might have to give nearly half of to various taxing authorities, we can take that down to 50% of that burden right away. So if you were talking about a $4 million home that you're going to have to pay nearly $2 million on, we would bring that down to under $1 million with an almost individual strike, meaning we can do that with a structure that is quick and is immediate and provides a total solution for someone. However, if we have more time to season that transaction, as we talked about, to structure it in a way that isn't imminent, meaning we don't have a sale that's happening, tomorrow, we can look at taking those rates down, as we talked about, closer to 7 or 8%. So there can be a lot of opportunity, and nothing is the same as we work with clients. Each time we're going to bring our best and smartest ideas to the table and work with your advisors to understand what works best for you.
All right. So if somebody's listening right now and they're like, yeah, you know what? This doesn't really apply to me because I'm not going to sell my house now. If you're going to sell it anytime in the future, unless you're the one person on this planet that's going to take it with you to heaven, you will be selling that home in the future. You might want to have a conversation with them sooner than later and just find out. A lot of this sounds too good to be true, but what I find is just check it out. We don't know what we don't know.
Yeah, and this is the whole premise behind like their name, Wilson Hand Law Firm.
Yeah.
Right? Because of this judge who tell me again the judge's
Tell us
name?
the quote from Mr. Hand.
Judge Learned Hand. Yeah. And again, he was a U.S. appeals court judge. So he's a federal appointed judge. So he's appointed by a president. And his quote was, in America, there are two tax systems, one for the informed and one for the uninformed. Both are legal. And that is the issue that we bring to people, is a lot of times they find it a little disbelieving or hard to believe that there are two systems. We've all been kind of trained there's one and there's one way to go. And so it is eye-opening to see how those who have means manage their affairs differently than we may in the rank and file in America.
Yeah.
And I love that. Richard, thank you so much for coming on the show. We hope to have you on again because we always like to remind our listeners and help to save them money, give them additional strategies, because we really do take a consultative approach. It's a very holistic, sometimes it's like, hey, you do not sell the home, or hey, this is a different way, or a professional that you need to know. So we're very excited to have met you and, bring you into our toolbox.
And I would like to leave our audience with another quote from a guy with the last name Han, but it wasn't Han, it was Han. And he was the villain in Enter the Dragon. And his quote, and the quote is actually from Bruce Lee from Enter the Dragon with the character Mr. Han. It is like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory. So a lot of times, I'm having fun here with the quote, but a lot of times the finger is us doing taxes and having a basic understanding of our tax strategy, working with our CPA year after year, when you're missing the whole opportunity of what might be out there in something else we might not be aware of.
Yes. And we're bringing,
we're bringing
awareness.
Enter the Dragon into saving on taxes. Bruce Lee.
I'm sure that's what he was talking about.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
we're putting together a page on our website with more information and how to just be connected to Richard and his team.
Yep.
So teamlally.com/taxes. You can go to that website. You can fill out the form. You can get a little bit more information. We're happy to put you in touch with Richard and his team and just learn more. You could call myself or Tilio.
Hey.
We're working directly with them. We'll provide our feedback and how we're using.
By the way, you're going to be signing an NDA because there's proprietary information and systems and processes they have. So if you don't want us to kill you by sharing too much information with you, be prepared to sign that form. And that totally makes sense, because if you're spending all this time and energy and have developed systems that are proprietary, protect it with an NDA. That totally makes sense. And know that if Richard's on this show, we're like the president of the men's hair club. Not only am I a client, we like using the product.
Yes. So
anything we talk about,
we're not going to recommend someone that we're not actually utilizing ourselves.
Yes. And we are in discussion, working with and utilizing these strategies ourselves personally as business owners. So
it's
a great privilege,
because sharing is caring. Yeah, sharing is caring.
That's we're the share care bear, So
well, thank you so much, Richard, for being on the show, for the information, and we'll look forward to having you back again soon.
All right. I look forward to it. Thank you.
Aloha.
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 All right. Again, that's Richard Warren from Wilson Hands.
By the way, I'm going to shorten up the domain name. I think it's going to be teamlally.com/tax.
You don't want taxes?
No, it's too
tax?
just
Okay.
it's too much extra word
All right.
letters.
Well,
Tax.
anyways,
TAX.
you'll find it on our resource tab. All right, I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, under the resource tab, it's going to be save on taxes.
Yeah, so just go click there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share a review from Natina. My husband and I are in the military. We needed to sell our home before going overseas.
Yes.
Adrian and Attilio from Team Lally walked us through this journey. I can't thank them enough for helping us sell our home. We were stressed and overwhelmed, but they were reassuring and positive. Thank you again, Team Lally, for helping sell our first property.
Yeah, let me tell you about the Tina them. They were dual military, brand new baby, just super stressed out, had the PCS.
Overseas, like they're going to Europe.
Yeah, overseas duty station, and just like besides themselves because unfortunately they got into a situation, and they're not bad people. They're just in a bad situation where they owed
Just
more
bad
than the
timing
property
of the
was
market.
worth.
That's all.
And so we helped them out of that situation. No money out of pocket, and they less stress, no fuss, no muss.
Yeah. And they are PCSing over to, I think, England. They're going to be spending some time in Europe, and
tally ho.
Yep. And they don't have to worry.
So if you're out there in that situation and you are owing more than what your property is worth, not sure how to get out from underneath that rock, we will come over with a crowbar and a lift, and we will help you. We've helped over 400 homeowners in the same situation over the last 20 years.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, and thank you to our sponsors.
Bradley with Allstate Insurance.
Kenji of Pillar to Post Home Inspections.
John, Kilauea Pest Control.
Duke of Hawaii Pacific Property Management.
Robinson with Fine Line Paintworks.
Amphi of Estate Planning Group.
Jason Wu, Attorney at Law.
Janice of Dream House Drafting.
Fabio, Hawaii Water Damage Restoration.
Kyle of Impact Wealth.
Brian with Cleanscape.
Benji of Hawaii Referral Agent.
Danny, DHA Financial Mortgage.
Joseph of Keymasters Locksmith.
Christopher of Falcon Services. If you want to get a hold of any of our sponsors, all you got to do is go to teamlally.com.
We also want to give a big thank you to Hans, our producer.
Chee-hoo.
Make sure to tune in next week. We'll have an awesome guest talking about something that'll change your life
forever. This is the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guarantee
Sold program. If we can't sell your home at the agreed upon price and or time frame, we'll have it bought for cash. Thanks and aloha.